The Strategic Hot Box with Dr. Brandi Stankovic. Discussing leadership, business, and how to take control of your life and achieve greatness. From the streets of Las Vegas, energized, informed, and never diluted. It's time to kick some ass.
Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Brandi Stankovic, and here we are on the Strategic Hot Box. We're going to talk about being hooked on winning. And I have a very special guest with me here today, Shawn Herring, competitive tournament fisherman here. And you're going to give us all the secrets is what I'm hoping.
All the secrets.
All the secrets. All right. For anybody that's just joining us here on the Hot Box, we learn, we love, and we kick ass. So we bring people on, a subject matter expert, somebody that's in the field that's making things happen, to learn a little about their business and how we can apply it to all of us and what we can learn from them. And then, of course, we talk about love, relationships in business, how we can support one another as humans. And then, of course, we'll give you the tools you need. And hopefully today, those little tricks on what to take immediately to the lake or the ocean and get a bit more hooked on winning and kick ass starting today. And we're on all of your favorite networks and areas, and anywhere that you want to go, we'll be. And if we're not, shoot me an email and we'll make it happen. Regardless, I want to get down to the meat of it. I want to come straight to you, Shawn. Here we are today. Welcome. Thank you for coming off the lake to hang out with us today.
Yes.
When was the last time you were out on the lake?
I was out recently Saturday and started a tournament, but I didn't finish, unfortunately.
Why?
I had boat issues.
Boat issues?
Yes, it's part of the tournament scene that seldom gets talked about, but costs the most.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. It's an expensive hobby, fishing, I would imagine.
It is a rich man's hobby, and I'm not rich, so I must be the dumb one.
I hear it. But I have to know, like, just to start us off, do you always lie when you're a fisherman? Is that like part of it? Like you have to say the fish was this big.
Mean, it's a story that you tell. You were there. No one else was there. So you can, but I mean, I might add a couple ounces. Never a pound.
I know that I've shown you this photo, and I probably should have sent it so we could show. I'll put it on social media so people listening and watching can. But I caught the record fish. I know we've talked many times about this. And I caught the record fish at Lake Mojave, a season record. It's not like the record of all time, but a season record fish. And it was a striped bass. And I 100% held it out further than I held the other fish to make it look enormous.
Exactly.
Only you know that.
Only I know that.
Well, but you know the scales, they keep you real. Like you have to go weigh it in.
You do.
So is that part of it, that you have to balance that fisherman's tale with the truth?
So when it comes down to that scale, the scale doesn't lie.
Yeah.
So you can get away with telling 3 people that it was such and such, maybe 3 pounds, 3 ounces, but the scale will tell you it was 2.97.
Yeah.
So that's where that fisherman's tale come in at.
Yeah. I feel like the scale in my bedroom, in my bathroom lies to me every day.
Does it lie?
I mean, I thought so. Maybe not. So what's your best ever catch?
So that actually happened not too long ago. I had a tournament out of Lake Mead. We launched out of Hemingway Harbor. I can't give you my location where I went and caught that fish.
Yeah, of course not.
But it was a largemouth, and when I weighed it, it came up to, when I weighed it, it said 6.23 pounds. When the tournament guy weighed it, it was like 597. So I'm calling it definitely a six pounder, and that was my absolute best.
Really?
Yes.
And I hear there's a big difference between largemouth and smallmouth.
Oh,
in the bass community, anyway.
Well, Lake Mojave and Lake Mead are full of smallmouth, but largemouth, if you want the big fish, that's what you'll get. They tend to be couple pounds more heavier than a smallmouth, but smallmouth are plentiful, and you know where to find smallmouth. So my best smallmouth was a 5.5 pounder.
And how big? What's the relative? I have no idea how big 5
So
pounds
imagine a football. You got a football. That is the goal, to catch one that looks like the size of a football.
Okay, so in girth and in
exactly.
Okay.
You're doing big things. You catch one that looks like that.
How do you come about this profession or this kind of hobby or this thing that you're going after? How do you come about? I mean, this is like fishing with Grandpa back in the day, or?
Good question. So I would say it was in my bloodline. My grandfather was a fisherman. My uncle was a fisherman, and they took me out when they were young, so it's always been there. One day while I was in Washington, D.C., a good friend of mine, he was out fishing, and I said, hey, you mind if I come along? So we went out, threw my line out there, and we were catching striped bass. So this bass hit it, took it, and my line just kept going. Zzz. So I'm winding, and it's not coming in.
Oh, no.
I didn't set the drag, so the fish actually free spooled me, and they gave me a nickname called Free Spool.
What does free spool mean?
It means he took the line clean off the reel.
Oh, but he didn't take the reel from me. It took the line
Took all
ran
the line
off.
and just kept going.
Wow.
So
Has that happened since, though?
negative. Negative. One fish, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. So it started back then, and then once I got out here 5 years ago, I went out fishing, and a coworker took me out striped bass fishing again. And then he says, you know what, we're going to go do bass fishing. I was like, I don't want to do bass fishing. I'm not a bass fisherman. However, went in the back of a cove, threw my line out, and caught a smallmouth bass. And ever since then, I've been stuck on this drug. I can't let it go.
It's kind of like golf, right? So people say, like, everybody's terrible at golf. You hit that one shot, and you're like, I love golf.
Exactly.
So you get that one fish, and that's that.
All it takes is one hook. One hook, and you're hooked.
So I'm starting to gather that striped bass is on the very low level of the bass.
So-
Is that even considered a bass?
It's considered a bass, but they're fun to catch when the real bass aren't biting. However,
The real bass. I'm picking up on these cues you're getting.
however, you can throw your line out there. You can put a piece of leftover garbage meat, and the striped bass will come get
We'll
it.
come eat it up.
Yes.
So it's similar to a carp in that sense?
When you're chasing largemouth and smallmouth bass, it's strategic. You have to put something in front of his face that he knows is not real, but you have to trick him into doing it. So it's an art to it, yes, but I like the challenge of the ultimate game of hide and seek.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good at it, but you have to
But you're
just make
better.
them slip up every once in a while.
Yeah, you're better. I love it. Any lessons learned or things that you just absolutely will not do when it comes to that?
I will not ever again go cheap.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. So I was at a tournament, Lake Mead, and it's maybe a year and a half ago. My boat came with a 12-volt 24-volt trolling motor. And let's say my big motor went out, so I was on my trolling motor. And we were taking on waves, not waves necessarily, but wind about 20 miles per hour. And I'm trying to get back close enough so where I can get towed in.
And you only have that little motor.
All I had was a little motor, and it lasted maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
So I was at the mercy of Lake Mead, just floating around in the middle till someone came and got me.
And for anybody that's listening or watching that doesn't know Lake Mead, it's in southern Nevada, right outside of Las Vegas. And it is infamous for being beautiful. And then you go, is that a gray cloud? And next thing you know, it's hurricane, whatever happening. And you're just wishing for anything that you can get home. I think that's the biggest piece. And then the second, of course, is the wind and the sun. It'll just cook you out in Vegas. You have to be really careful.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So now from here on out, you won't mess around when it comes to that.
I will not be cheap. If it costs, I just got to pay the cost, pay the boss.
Yeah. And will you fish year round then? Or?
I fish year round. Wintertime, we put on our bibs. Looks like a snowsuit. And on those extremely cold days, I put on a helmet. Look like I'm going to ride a motorcycle, however. But going up and down the lake with 70 miles per hour and 20-some degrees with the wind chill factor, I think you would want a helmet too.
What does I don't know that I would wear a helmet. I wouldn't be out there. I think that automatically.
I don't blame you. It's only the crazy ones that's out there.
Makes you tougher than me. What does a tournament day look like? Is it very intense?
Oh, tournament day is very intense. It's usually Saturday mornings unless I'm doing the major tournaments. But you wake up 4 o'clock. Go get gas, go get my ice, go get my water, take the boat over to the tournament, meet up with my co-angler, and go over the game plan.
What's a co-angler?
So co-angler is the person you're assigned to normally it's random.
Really? You get assigned to a stranger when you're out there?
Complete stranger.
Really?
And you get some that you just wish the
Want
day
to throw
was
off
over
the
with.
boat?
Absolutely.
Oh, really? Wow.
Absolutely.
That's an interesting part of the sport, huh?
Oh, man. That is the...
Is that a make or break? It can?
It can. That angler in the back seat can help you or it can hurt you.
Yeah.
And I've been hurt several times more than I've been helped. So.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes.
So you get your co-angler and then you head out on the water.
Yes. We launched the boat and I wait for them to come back to the ramp, pick them up, bring out my rods and tell them, hey, this is where we're going. This is what we expect to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what you should do. I'm not going to tell you how to throw it, but this is what I'm going to present, and you should follow up with such and such.
Mm-hmm.
And some listen, some don't.
Yeah.
Then you get those that want to throw where you're throwing, and it just
get in your
causes
way.
major problems.
Mm-hmm. Can they win for you, or is it the boat that wins?
So both of our scores are combined. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
It
not
hurts
me
you.
fishing against that person.
Uh-huh.
We're fishing together.
Uh-huh.
However, but say if I catch a big fish, then that's my big fish, but it still counts as our weight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're really trying to get after.
So how many total fish do you put in?
So you weigh in 5. So your best 5.
Could all 5 of them be yours?
Yes.
Okay.
All 5 can be mine. We weigh in our best 5, and I would say you can catch as many as you want, but you can only keep 5. So once I catch that 6th fish, I have to look in there and say which one is the smallest, throw it out before I can cast again.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And have you met a lot of people? I mean, it sounds like you've had some negative or some anglers that didn't hold their weight. Have you met some great people?
I met some dope people. I met some amazing people who've pushed me even further into the sport. Their knowledge, their willingness to help, their just overall attitude is positive. And you meet people with positive vibes, it just gravitates towards you and makes you want to be involved more with the sport.
I've always loved to fish. The thing for me is, and maybe it was similar for you, when it was a hobby, and I know it's still somewhat of a hobby in what you do, but when it's leisurely,
Yes.
and the sun is going down and I'm camping with my boys and I can go through my rod. I don't care if I catch. I don't care if any of those things. And I used to think striped bass was like the end all be all. Clearly I didn't know, but I just love that piece of it. Like there's peace in fishing. There's quietness,
Definitely.
There's stillness. And if I transition to a competitive place, it might ruin that for me.
It surely would, because those days where you're just out there leisurely fishing, you're actually looking for new spots and trying out new tactics and stuff. The leisurely fish, that's pretty much for me from the shore, when I just take a rod and just sit out there and let the fish come to me. But bass fishing as a tournament,
does it take a different frame of mind? Then you have to be all in, right?
you have to be all in, because you're out there for 8 hours. It's typically an 8-hour day, and your goal is to recoup the money that you just put up.
Does that typically happen?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been on a losing streak, so we're gonna snap out on the next tournament.
Yes, yeah. We'll give you all the positive
There we go.
vibes
There we go.
and energy, yeah.
Yes.
Do you have those specialty reels or those like magic? You don't have to tell any tricks, to our listeners or anything, but do you have like that kind of magic that you...
I have my favorite reels that typically work. So I prepare myself for either Lake Mojave or Lake Mead. So I have a setup strictly for Lake Mead. And those reels do very well. Very expensive, but they do very well. So,
do you have a voodoo? Do you have like a where you like sit in the back and you chant for a minute or anything like that?
no voodoo, but however, I do take a little speaker box out there, and while we're sitting there waiting for launch, I get in my zone. I play some music. I get in my zone.
Who's the artist?
It's going to be Young Jeezy.
Young Jeezy provides the mood music.
Absolutely, every time.
Well, then that's a perfect trick of the trade that everybody listening can take home with
There
them.
you go. Gotta get that energy up.
Got that winning music. What are some pet peeves? What pisses you off when you're out there?
If angler comes on my boat and wants to smoke,
Smoke cigarettes or something?
yes, smoke cigarettes. That is a no. Good luck with your addiction, but it won't happen here.
Have you ever asked somebody to get off? Have you ever stopped the tournament because of an angler?
I tell them up front, there's no smoking back here, and if you need to, I can pull over there to
they can hop off or whatever.
Yeah, you can go ahead and handle your business.
Is that a personal preference, or do you think there's something with the fish in that too?
No, it's personal. I don't want to breathe that. To each its own, but it's my boat, so it's my rules.
So is there anything else? I mean, because I know that when I've been out fishing, and again, it's always leisurely, but we've been trolling or enjoying the sunset or out early before the jet skis or something, because these are very leisure lakes.
The jet skiers, that is a pet peeve, because we're in the back of a cove and we're just
enjoying some calm still.
Everything's calm, and here comes this jet skier wanting to do donuts on a what we call a water bike, and you're trying to catch a fish that doesn't know you're there. The jet skier is going to let them know that you're there. They're going to disturb the balance, and you got to start all over. So yes, those are very big pet peeves.
Or somebody running across a line or something to that effect.
That typically doesn't happen.
They're more respectful boaters,
right?
Yeah.
Right. The jet skiers are the disrespectful ones.
Yeah. And usually, because I know that and maybe people experience this across the country as well, but when you wake up in Nevada and go out on the lake, like right as the sun's coming up, nobody else is out there. Like it's very, very still.
It's just us.
And it's beautiful until as soon as one or two boats come, then come the motion of the lake.
Yes. Yes, I can deal with the motion of the lake. It's just I'm setting up strategically to find these fish and not let them know that anyone's in here.
So if we have a bunch of jet skiers that are listening, they're like, oh, I didn't know I should respect the fishermen a little bit more. What do they watch for?
So if you see a boat in the back of a cove, let's not go back there. You have the whole main lake. You can do all those donuts and fancy tricks you want to do right there. So
just any sort of boat or a boat with a single person or something to that effect, that might be a sign.
Specifically on tournament day. I don't mind during practice
but
fishing.
how do you know? I mean, we don't know that.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
And
but Saturday is the day to drink beer and ride jet skis, man.
You'll see a flotilla of
just
bass
a whole
boats.
bunch of boats, yeah.
Yes.
And bass boats are flatter typically, yeah, because you can walk out. Okay, yeah.
And we can catch you. I've caught a couple of them. I can run you down. It's not a problem.
Oh, really? So they actually can get in trouble for it.
Yes, you cannot outrun me on a jet ski.
Well, yeah, I'm sure your boat goes very quick, very quickly. So you talked a little bit about it being creative and there's magic to it somewhat, but is there an art or do you rely on technology?
So there is an art, because when I first started, I didn't have all the technology I have. I was still poor, but now I've become poorer by doing this. But the art was first learn how to throw a bait caster. Once I got that down with the worm, and I gravitated to a drop shot from a drop shot to a swim bait to a chatter bait to all these different type of baits. And
you're turning a lot of fishermen on right now. And the rest of us are like, yeah. That's the talk they want to hear. So yes, it is definitely an art. I haven't mastered it. I'm not gonna pretend like I know it like I should. Well, any good fisherman wouldn't say that anyway, right? If they're saying they mastered it, then they probably haven't.
Yeah, they probably haven't. But I am steady trending in the right direction.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome. But technology has grown leaps and bounds, has it not?
Technology is amazing. So on my boat, I'll actually tell you, on my boat, I have this thing called a Mega 360. Then I have
Mega 360.
So Mega 360, it shoots in a 360 direction. It shows me rock, landscape, anything on the bottom. It'll show me where the fish are. So traditionally, when you start off, you have 2D sonar. That shoots down and pretty much give you the distance. But 360 gives you the whole boat. So instead of just looking behind me, I'm looking all around me.
Wow.
And then I have this thing called Mega Live, which is the newest technology. It's forward-looking sonar. So it's actually showing me in live. I can see that fish that's actually swimming right there. I can watch it the whole time. I can actually throw my lure over there, see my lure swimming. I can see how that fish reacts to it live.
Wow. Fancy. Yes. And does it help?
It helps a lot because if you're sitting there and wondering if there's fish down there, you can just pan over there and.
Does a fish ever roll its eyes at you? Like, really with
several
that lure?
times? Like I've seen this trick before.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Right. Yeah.
So you have that. Then I have the thing called target lock, which attaches to the mega live. So before target lock, you were at the mercy of your trolling motor, whichever direction it was pointed. Now I have this turret that sits to the side that allows me to just point in a direction without having to use the trolling motor. And if you're not sure what the trolling motor is like a shallow water. It's an anchor that keeps him in a certain position, and it's pretty much
So if
sits
the boat
in
moves, it'll move you back.
it will.
It's pretty cool.
So after all that money,
You're catching all the fish.
I am getting better at catching fish. I'm not catching all
Well,
of them.
I figured that would be one of the pet peeves is that you'd have some rookie come out for the first day and be like, "Oh, tournament, sign up," and then win.
That happens.
I'm sure it does.
That happens. It's just blind luck. Their day, not mine.
Right.
Yes.
And do you have any funny stories? Any crazy stuff? Have you ever fallen in or?
Oh, speaking of someone falling in, he's gonna be mad at me, but that's my dog, and
Sorry.
I appreciate you. Take one for the team. So we were fishing once again Lake Mead about a month and a half ago, and I caught a fish. I'm reeling the fish in. He's grabbing a net.
Tournament day or no?
Tournament day.
Oh, okay.
He's grabbing a net. He's in position to go get the fish. He sticks the net in. The net breaks.
Like hit a tree or something?
I don't know what made this net break, but it broke.
Okay.
He falls in, goes under, comes back up, still has a net in his hand. He says, "Get the fish. Keep going." So he grabs he nets the fish in the water.
In the water.
In the water.
I
My
feel
man
like
is Superman.
That's not embarrassing. That is a real friend. That's what we should all search for in life.
That is a stand-up guy, and I appreciate him still
Breaks your
to this
net,
day.
but dives in and catches a fish anyway.
We have the video. He just will not release it.
Oh man, maybe this will be the motivation
I know, right?
he needs.
Let's see if we can coax him in the stand. Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But yes.
I mean, was it a graceful fall or did he?
He went head first.
Oh man.
So he comes up, grabs the fish, nets the fish. I grab him one hand. I got my rod in the other hand.
So did you bring the fish in first or him first? That's important.
So he has the net in his hand. So he puts the net up on the boat.
Right. Fish first, obviously.
Fish first.
Yeah, I mean.
I move the net.
Friends
out the
for
way.
life, but fish first. Let's
Move
be
the net
real.
out the way, grab him and pull him out. And see, luckily we're in my boat because I keep a spare set of clothing.
Oh, do you?
So I gave him my spare clothes, and we continued
New
throughout
net,
the day.
spare
It was cold,
clothes?
though.
Was it? Oh, I'm sure it was.
It was It was the month of December.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. All right. So 1 or 2 word response. If I could, I would blank every day.
I would fish, definitely. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but I would fish and I would barbecue every day.
What a good add to that. Love it. The world would be a better place if
people took time out to say thank you. If people took time out and said, I acknowledge your existence, you acknowledge my existence, I don't have to be the most important person in the room right now. If we swallowed our egos and just reach across and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You'd be surprised how many times I walk up the pier and they don't even acknowledge me, but I say, "Good morning."
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
A moment of gratitude.
That's it.
Yeah. And that always comes back to us in full, right? I mean, we do it selflessly, or we should be doing it selflessly, but yes. it returns the favor.
It does. It does. Positive people, you make a difference, remember.
Well, thank you. Let's head out to our shout out.
Hello, my name is Karen Hurst. I work for the Association of Croatian Credit Unions here in London. We have a bridge, and you're listening to Brandi on Teaching Hot Box.
Thank you to my friends from London and there with the shot of the London Bridge. And thank you for the shout out. And thank you to you for being here. If we could leave our listeners and watchers with some kick-ass takeaways, what might those be?
Kick-ass takeaway. Let's see. Get out and fish.
Just get out and try. Get out and do it. Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm going there. Even if you go to the Walmart Bass Pro and buy that little combo that never works, just get out there and try it. The more you get out there, the easier it becomes.
Yeah. And one of the other things that you said today that I really love is about focus. It's really, at some point you decided this is what you were going to do and you went all in.
I did. It's about $300,000 later.
So it's not only money, but it's also time and energy, creative energy, mind space.
Oh my, the time is, you're giving up 8 to 10 hours out of a day, and that's just one day. But to be competitive, you have to be out there at least 3 times a week. These guys are out there maybe 4 or 5 times a week, and you wonder why you're not placing as high as you want to, because you're not enough time on the water.
Yeah, it's just really, so putting in the time makes a difference.
Putting in the time is everything. The more time you're out there, the easier it becomes to locate these fish.
And I know we're doing takeaways, but how long is a fish's life?
So if you get like that 6-7 pounder, he has to be at least 15, 20 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It takes a while for him to get that big.
Huh.
So please.
So he's been dodging lures for a minute.
He's smart enough not to bite him, but somehow I coaxed him into it. And for those we call you meat eaters that like to eat the bass, please do not bother the bass while they're during the spawning session that's coming up March, April, and May. You see them on the bed, catch them, release. Do not put them in the grease.
Why?
Because if you catch them, we can't catch them again.
Yeah.
If you eat them and you take them away, we can't catch them again.
And so if somebody really isn't there for that reason, then to let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
You can eat all the striper, catfish.
Right.
Tilapia.
I mean, you did just say the striper are eating garbage. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you're not in it for that, then let it be so people that are can enjoy it more.
Right. And I'll even give you a gem. Lake Mead has crappie. Go find the crappie.
What is that?
Crappie is a great small fish. It's very good eating. Very good eating.
So for those in Southern Nevada that get out on Lake Mead, interesting.
Yes.
Another thing that you talked about is perseverance, right? So you've been out there and you've lost a lot.
Everything.
You know, and you have to go out and just keep throwing the line. Yeah.
You do. So you can be out there like recently this last tournament. I hadn't got a bite all day. It was like maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I got my first bass bite. So you'll be out there. It's like maybe it's supposed to be 100 casts till you catch a bass. I think I was on like 2 billion casts, and I finally got one. So just got to stick it out, tough it out.
Push through. And then the other thing that I really love that you shared with us today, it's a balance of artistry and technology.
Absolutely. You have to invest, and you have to remember how you started. Because at any time your technology can go out, as I found out the hard way.
Yeah. And I think that it's that balance is really finding. So you invest in your technology and your tools, right? Once you get to a certain level, right? You have to commit to the craft before you're investing to that level. But you're also investing in your mind and your heart and your body and your soul in this too.
Correct. So your heart is attached to these bass. Your mind is, I got to go get my next bass. And your body is just taking a pounding that is getting beat up by those waves.
Do you dream about bass?
I do.
I knew it.
I do. I dream about that morning of the tournament when we do the blast off. That is my favorite part of the day. That's when you go from 0 to whatever your boat can do. Mine pretty good. It's 0 to 75.
Wow. Good for you. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you and talk more or ask questions, how could they do that?
You can reach me at Shawn Herring on Instagram. That's the best way. DM me, and I'll respond as quickly as possible.
And what is your exact, whatever they call that, handle?
Shawn Herring Fishing.
Shawn Herring Fishing, all one word.
All one word.
Great, on Instagram. And then people can reach out to you and maybe get involved, maybe be a better angler.
Absolutely. I'm here for questions. You DM me. I'll be sure to answer. You can go on the page and comment and like whatever you see, and I'll interact as much as possible.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me
with us today and sharing your insight and love. And thank you to all of you for being our faithful followers and listeners. And if you want to get a hold of Shawn, please do, or reach out to us at Strategic Hotbox or at Brandi Love on Instagram. I did join TikTok recently, and it's at Dr. Brandi Love. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can essentially find my Instagram reels that I've put over onto TikTok. Like I'm not quite there yet, but either way, reach out to us, and we're on all your favorite platforms, including Roku, Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube. We're out there, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you again, Shawn, and thank you to all of you. And until I see you again, get out there and kick some ass.